And we're live.
Oh, are we live? I was changing my view and I couldn't see the right thing. Right, are we live?
I think so. Chat, tell us if we're live.
Good, excellent. I've broken the whole thing.
It's all broken and on the floor.
This was a good start.
Good start.
It's all broken on the floor. I'm back now. Right, I can see things. Okay, hello everybody. Yeah, it's just us two today,
Just
hence slightly weird feeling intro. But we're here. And we were trying to think of a way to introduce the stream. Apparently, just me being confused at how computers work is our new intro. But we'll go back to the previous intro, which was I found a riddle, and I
because
think it's good
last time
just to get your
we did a
brains
bad joke, so
working.
we're doing a riddle this time.
I think it's really important just to get your brains working before you take in some really highbrow content. So I present to you this riddle, courtesy of riddles.com. I am something, throw away my outside, eat my inside, and throw away my inside. What am I? No, I said it wrong. I am something you throw away my outside, eat my inside, and throw away my inside. What am I? Chat, any guesses?
And it's not what I said it was, because there's another near identical riddle to which the answer is corn, and it's not that.
Supposedly, according to riddles.com, with 23 upvotes,
And
it is a mango. So close enough.
yeah. The poor grammar is
Right.
actually essential to the riddle.
Of course. Can you comment? Okay, I need to close this website before I go down a rabbit hole. Excellent.
That's a stream we're doing at some
So,
point.
yes, we will just do riddles for like half an hour. But yeah, we have got some content today, even though there is only two of us. It may be a slightly shorter stream, but we've got some good TTRPG content, even if it's not D&D. So I've been scouring the internet for some two-player TTRPG games. Initially, I was looking for one GM, one player type deals, but those seem to be either extensive and take a lot of work to set up, or just are generally unpopular. What I found a lot more of was these like two-player cooperative world-building things. So I've digged out a couple that I think look fun. We've got the first one we'll have a look at in a minute is called "And You Shall Shatter Temples" by Anna Landin. There's a couple more I've got that we might dig into later if they look interesting, but that's where we're starting from. But yes, Alex was just pointing out in the chat. Alex is still here, just not around this week. Probably back next week, I think. But yes, we're doing it just us today. So yeah, before we get into the actual game, because it's going to be pretty much learning from scratch as well as playing as we go along, I just thought we'd have a general TTRPG thing. Just like we had a little bit of a talk about what brought us TTRPGs, but I thought as I was doing so much digging around all these sort of niche areas, I thought it was worth just giving a sort of a bit more intro to anyone watching now and anyone watching back on videos. Just to say kind of what part of TTRPGs keeps you interested. So that's like the question I would pose to you, James. If you've got an answer there, what aspect of TTRPGs is the bit that you're really sort of psyched about? What bit of a game makes it fun? I can go first. You haven't got an instant answer.
It depends on the game and the group. Because some groups, it's all about the roleplay and the characters. And then other groups, I like just building really powerful characters and killing monsters. And just full dungeon crawling it. Skyrim mode. So
Skyrim.
It's very dependent on the group. And as well settings are really cool. I think in all fantasy that I consume, any media, setting is one of the things that really keeps me involved and interested. Even more so than characters.
Okay.
I really like well-designed worlds and interesting and unique cities. One thing I've always loved about Pokemon games is the cool locations they get.
That's a good point, actually. We can talk about other RPGs here. But yeah, that should be good. I think there's lots of room for that in the games we're going to play today.
By the way, just quickly, I adjusted my my noise filter. Anyone in chat, if I'm cutting off at the beginnings and ends of sentences, please tell me.
Yeah. And me as well. I haven't adjusted anything, but I usually am cutting off at the end of my sentences, so let me know. So yeah, I think that's a good thing. I think there's lots of room in this game today for that. What is Alex saying? I like the ability to pretend I'm town to areas where I'm not able to in real life, like talking and having friends. Hence, high charisma characters from Alex, the D&D player. No, I think that's fair as well. I think it's your own world. I was listening to a panel from a couple of years ago, 2019, I think, talking about horror as a genre, and that's basically where I got all these questions from. Just thinking about what of this thing makes me interested in it. Why am I actually listening to it? Why am I enjoying it? So I thought it was interesting just to see, as Fluff and Fumble, as we've like taken TTRPGs to the next level, why are we even interested in it? But anyway, that's enough of that. Should we do some game?
Yes. Well, I've decided just now, by the
Let's
end of the
do
month,
some
whichever of our followers has the coolest username wins a prize. Because I was just looking back through
Hmm.
Streamlabs at the followers from last stream, and just the username Judge
Yeah.
Judy Slayer has such a powerful energy to it. I just think if
That
anyone,
is
if anyone
great.
can top that, then they get an unspecified prize.
We will inscribe our names, inscribe your name onto my forehead for a whole stream.
It may be a metaphysical
that-
prize, one that's more, kind of.
I'm willing to sharpie a username onto my forehead for a whole stream.
That's better than writing
But-
on a whiteboard. Imagine that.
Yeah.
The username
Anyway,
sharpied on the
right.
streamer's forehead.
I have far too many windows open, so if something goes wrong on the stream, I'm relying on someone else to tell me. But yes, I suggest I'm going to put some music on quietly, and I'll give you a quick introduction to this game. So I found this via internet searching. I genuinely can't give you much more information than that. That I just kind of was looking for two-player games, and link upon link eventually led me to this. And You Shall Shatter Temples by Anna Landin. Do you want me just to read out the kind of the flavor text, the intro, get a flavor of the game?
That would probably be good.
So yeah, this is how the game starts. There may be gods, but you are done being faithful. It's time to burn their kingdom down. They built their temples in the ashes of your home. They filled their coffers with gold. They earned with your sweat and suffering. They fill your mouths with their names and demand you worship them. They unfurl their flags over battlefields where they spilled your blood, and never their own. Sing songs with the words they could not take from you. Raise the banner woven from the flags you stole back from them, and arm yourselves with the swords you forged from their discarded bones. So, it is a world-building, character-building game of rising up. It describes itself as explicitly anti-fascist. It is all about the smaller character rising up against, in this case, a god, but really, it's up to you to decide what that is a metaphor for. And it's a basic game for two players with a deck of cards and 2 dice. So I reckon we should just get started and learn as we play. I've skimmed the rules. I've given James a quick overview, but I'll kind of quickly summarize each section before we start it. I think the first thing to do is, the arc, we're going to be these sort of underdog characters fighting a god, but I think the first decision we've got to make is one of genre, and I thought we could pose it to chat if you're not opposed.
Ooh.
What genre would you like us to play? And this
Like
game
a
works in anything you can
straw
think of. Well, yeah, if we're able to do that, we can,
We don't
just
have
because
access,
it can
we don't
be.
have access to Twitch polls, but we can always just make one straw poll.
Yeah.
Whatever the.
Or, I mean, we haven't got tons of people online, so just any suggestions from chat is also valid. But
in chat, if you put a suggestion in chat, you are probably going to be the only one, so we'll almost definitely do what you say. So think about that.
But the game works with anything. It can be high fantasy medieval, it can be apocalyptic, it can be sci-fi, it can be real world, it can be whatever kind of Western, whatever flavour you kind of want to. We've got one suggestion here of sci-fi from Osharon.
Prehistoric.
If we don't get any in the next 30 seconds,
Full
then you've
caveman
got it.
mode.
A full caveman.
Yeah, to go full caveman.
Any more elaborate?
Biopunk.
Biopunk. Oh,
Is that plant
combine those two.
Is that plant people?
That's like, yeah, it's kind of like sci-fi work, but with a sort of biological side on it. Plants and genetic modification, I believe, is biopunk. Oh, my music's just changed because I put it on an autoplay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we can go for something sci-fi and biopunk. We can combine them into sci-biopunk-fi. I'm literally just going through Pinterest for biopunk images just to get an idea. It does look like kind of genetic modification, insectoid, steampunk. Yeah, I'm up for that. Okay. So because we'll be building a world as we go, it's kind of up to us to introduce those sort of genre elements into our descriptions. Awesome. Cool. So yeah, that was my first thing. So this game sort of alternates between a setup, a exploration, and a confrontation. Exploration and confrontation. So we'll alternate between these areas where we're drawing cards and telling stories, and then rolling dice and battling. So the first step in a game where you're trying to kill a god is to find a god to kill. So we will do that by drawing some cards. I hope everyone can see Foundry.
Should be able to.
I'm just going to take the aces. Oops.
Because this is a less serious TTRPG stream as well, if chat have any questions they want to ask, then just...
We're not going to make this as intense as normal. I am just...
Ace of spades. Fun.
Oops. Yeah, I'm just... I had this all worked out before and now I can't work out how to do it all.
I mean, if we absolutely need to, then...
There are cards there. Let me just...
That's my party trick I do. I shuffle cards in a slightly, but not that impressive way. Do it so that people will think that I'm good at cards, but I'm not. They'll think that I am. Have I got so many Discord things that are being sent DMs, but I can't look at them otherwise it will mess up the cameras. To the phone.
To the phone. Right, I think I know how to do this now.
Apparently I'm slightly quiet. I can't turn myself up because there's a limit, so I'll just turn you down. Sorry, Ness.
Good call.
You've just lost 3 decibels.
Oh no. I love those 3 decibels.
Do you like those?
Right, here we go. I've worked out how to do it. Yeah, I did actually.
I think you're just a greedy decibel hoarder. I think you have a parasocial relationship with your decibels.
Oh, this music's gonna drive me mad. I do. Yeah, I have an issue with decibels. Right. So this is a Foundry module for cards that isn't totally sorted out. So I am just sorting it out. I'm sure it makes really entertaining viewing. Excellent. Right. Here, as if by magic, we have the 4 aces.
What a trick.
Which will help us determine the god we are trying to depose. If you scroll your screen slightly down, James, the viewers will be able to fully see the cards we're looking at. If you pull Foundry down slightly, perfect. Excellent. Cool. So, to begin the game, take the face cards, so I've just taken the aces for speed, and place them face up on the table. This represents a pantheon of available gods and their disciples, and you'll choose one god or disciple from among them to be your struggle against. They're divided by suit, each fitting a general theme. Again, we could leave this up to chat if they want to get involved. But the spades, so right now we're picking a god. We will flavour it with that sort of sci-fi biopunk energy once you've picked one. But the spades represent the domain of conflict, the realm of bloody-handed wreck and ruin, of unrelenting machinery of warfare, of every blade held by hands whose promise not to turn on them is just the promise of not yet. So if we pick spades, we can take the god of war, the god of conquest, and the warlord. All good options. The diamonds, I don't know if I have got them next, is the domain of prosperity, the realm of plenty, of excess and abundance, of gilded gates and overflowing plates, where those of means never go hungry and what is left always goes to waste. So if we pick the domain of diamonds, the domain of prosperity, we get access to the god of wealth, the god of hunger, and the magnate. Next along, clubs, you have the domain of control, the realm of the all-seeing eye, of the ear that hears every whisper, of the watchers on the walls, where the name is the greater good. Where in the name of the greater good, nothing ever may be hidden. Where there's the god of vigilance, the god of secrets, and the spy master. And then finally, hearts represent the domain of order, the realm of justice blindfolded, of authority and rule, where lives are weighed and measured and found wanting, and every plea for mercy falls on deaf ears, ruled by the god of order and the god of laws. So, I think if chat are still there and would like to make a choice, your choice is between order, control, prosperity, or conflict. Who would you like to see us fight against, and who would you like us to sort of flavour with that sci-fi biopunk energy? If chats don't choose, I am willing to roll a d4 for this. Or just for us to choose.
Can you just draw a card and have it be of the suit?
I could as well if you'd like that.
Is that not a viable way?
Might be easiest. The music's back again. Okay. I'm just going to go for a random pick then. I'm going to draw the top card. I'm going to shuffle them.
I do it.
And I'm good. Do you want to draw the top card? Yeah.
Ooh, we got a suggestion of diamonds. Too late.
Oh, okay. I know I like that. Diamonds. The excess of those who create body modifications to perfection. Where you are the parts they tested on.
That was the top card anyway.
You've also drawn a diamond. Excellent. Well, seeing as you've drawn the King of Diamonds, should we take the King of Diamonds, the god of wealth himself?
All the way up.
So, we'll take the god of wealth, and I like that idea. I like the excess of those body modifications. So prosperity is all about this ability to like modify their body with these genetic alterations, these plant-based alterations. So, I will just quickly find the card we are fighting against, the King of Diamonds. And draw him. So this will represent our god. The other diamond face cards are... Oh, I am messing things up. There we go. Right. Let me just grab the other diamonds. There's a diamond. And the final diamond. Again, cards would be easier with a physical pack, but we want to share the same cards.
It's almost like this game was designed to be played in person.
It almost definitely was. Excellent. Right. Delete you. Delete you. Discard you. Draw you. And finally, with much anticipation, joy. Right. So here we have on the left, ignoring that one, the what we're fighting against. We have this god of wealth, this king of diamonds, the god that Alex has given us the description for there, the god of the excess of body modifications to perfection, and surrounding them they have these symbols of their power, represented by the other 3 diamond cards. These can be anything that represent their authority, whether literal or metaphorical. Alex is going to jump back soon. Bye, Alex. But yes, so these diamonds represent symbols of authority, and we get to make up what those are. So, what physical or metaphorical authority would a god of excess modification have? Any ideas jumping right to mind?
The god of wealth makes me think of crown, but...
Yeah. So let's take the ace feels powerful. Let's take a crown as that ace of diamonds. Maybe with this kind of sci-fi biopunk thing, maybe it's a crown in only the metaphorical sense. It acts more as like a helmet, or the what's his name from Star Wars with the band of metal and cyborg going around the side of his head. The
Echo.
Well, on the back there.
Right?
Yeah, must be.
You thinking of Echo?
I can't remember exactly. No, I'm not thinking. I'm thinking of the Death Star Trooper.
Oh, I thought you were thinking of Echo, because Echo has that kind of thing. If any of you are Clone Wars and or Bad Batch fans.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Clone Wars, by the way.
Spoilers for Clone Wars. Yeah, we should have warned. But no. Okay, so maybe it's a crown in the sort of body modification sense. Let's go with this same flavor, that it's this embedded cybernetic element that just sits in the back of their brain and controls their movements, and a symbol of their power. That's great. So the crown for ace, I'll just note that down. Ace, crown. For the queen, another symbol of their power and authority. I think we go for... Maybe sort of maybe a location. Maybe a location would have to topple the center of their power. Maybe this kind of underground worship, this kind of clerics of this god working to form the perfect followers. So like a hospital that's been corrupted into a sort of religious fanatical cult type feeling.
Yeah.
So maybe for the queen we take that sort of corrupted hospital. And then finally for the jack, a kind of weaker symbol of authority, something that's more flimsy, related to this god. We have got another viewer, someone saying hello. Hello, we've just kind of started this game. And we're thinking of a symbol of authority for a god of wealth.
Ooh, by the way,
and
just
with
on
these
a
themes
tangent,
of body
we
morphs.
found some cats in the Minecraft server. We'll be able to name a cat after you finally, after all this time.
Excellent.
Because we made a promise quite a while ago to name a cat. We've now got a cat, so...
Excellent. That'll be on the next stream. Oh, maybe we have a cat. Maybe we have a pet.
Ooh, that'd be
This
thematic.
god has a pet. This kind of like imagine like a panther, but displacer beasts. Those kind of panthers with tentacles.
Well, everyone's turning up now. Clearly, the notifications.
Everyone's turning up. Okay, I'm gonna call that on a jack. I'm gonna call the pet. Cool. So to summarize, for these new viewers and what we've just decided, so we are playing a game called Unusual Shatter Thrones about taking down a despotic god. We've decided it's going to have this sci-fi biopunk feel to it, and we've decided the god is the god of wealth, but more about how the wealthy can create these perfect bodies for themselves. And then from that, we've picked these 3 symbols of authority. James came up with the ace being the crown, which is this cybernetic ring that the god wears around their head. The queen is this location of the corrupted hospital. Kind of their main temple is this hospital that's been turned from helping the needy into assisting the wealthy to get even wealthier. And then the jack has become this god's pet, this beast, this altered cat, if you will. So with that setup done, we are ready to get into the actual game. Let me just check the deck is all set up right, because there should be no more edits to the deck after we've done this. But clearly it is not set up right, because I've done something wrong. I just need to delete a joker and delete a ace of diamonds. Right. Delete. Burn. Right, we now have 48 cards. 4 diamonds are drawn. I am shuffling this deck. And that is the deck we'll play with.
There's still a random ace of hearts.
Yeah, I don't entirely know how to delete it, so I'm just going to leave it there and no one's going to talk about it.
It's decoration.
That represents hope in our hearts. It
represents the friends we made along the way.
So now we start making characters. James, would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
Ooh. You can go first.
I can talk you through it. There's no stress. Okay, I'll go first. So we know what we stand against, and now the time has come to define who you are. Let's help you fight back. So each player draws 1 card from the deck randomly. So I'm just going to draw a card to the table. Draw to the table a single card. I'm going to flip it. The 6 of clubs. And I will tell you what that means now. This card defines something that is true about your character. Then the club represents secrets, deep knowledge, or connections. So something true about my character related to secrets or deep knowledge in this biopunk world. And there's an opportunity to flesh out something about the world as well. So I think my character knows something that most others don't. Music is going to kill me. I need to put this one on loop. Which was the right one? That one. Right, that's better. So my character knows something that others don't from this 6 of clubs. And it's going to be that they know the long-term effects of this like genetic modification. Think along the lines of, there's been thousands of things that have gone along with this. Cyberpunk, most recently, the idea of losing your humanity as you get more of these effects. But instead of losing humanity, because that is overdone, I'm going to take the idea that my character understands that the more of these modifications you take, the more of the god is within you. So this god of wealth that we're trying to destroy, he actually exerts more control over people who are further away from their original forms through greed. And then the second step of making a character is to draw a second card, and it defines the means by which you are attacking divine power. So I'm just going to draw a second card to the table. Put it next to my first. Oh, the Ace of Hearts. Okay. Hearts represent faith or support or spirit. And the Ace is a powerful card. So I think I'm not like a guns or swords person. I'm this supportive spiritual. So I'm leaning towards an older character with this deep knowledge as well. Maybe a mentor type person. We'll see what character James draws and we see if we can work out a connection between those two. But maybe like a cloaked figure, this kind of ragged brown cloak pulled around them. And they're less about fighting themselves and more about directing others with this knowledge they've worked out. So we'll work out a little bit more, but James, do you want to repeat that same thing? Do you want to draw your first card to see what's true about your character?
Draw to table. big draw to table. You've gone somewhere. Is it?
I can't see anything.
Table. Come on.
So you tick the draw to table box and then take cards, yeah?
Yeah, hold on. Right leg. On a hand. Tick the draw to table box. Take cards. Technical difficulties.
Not working? Do you want me to draw one for you?
Yeah. You can just draw them.
Can you edit that card now it's drawn? As in, can you move it around?
Yep.
If you right click, you should be able to flip it. There you go. So the 4 of diamonds. So diamonds represent gear, wealth, or resources. So there's something true about your character related to gear, wealth, or resources.
Let's have my character be someone who was affected by this then. Somebody who received some kind of modification. Surely is the way to go with that.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, okay. They got one of these biomods.
Seems like the obvious choice. Someone who was negatively impacted and realised that there's potentially a darker side to this.
Okay. What is your specific modification?
Ooh, I feel like no real world inspiration at all here. I think it's some kind of brain chip that interacts with computers.
Okay. So you have this sort of telekinetic power with other computers?
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
Being able to download and store images and audio files in your brain and that sort of thing. Able to pull them up at will.
Okay, that's cool. That could be powerful. Right, draw a second card, which is something you fight with. It's your weapon.
How do you do that? I can't.
I'll draw it.
I'm currently incapable of drawing cards. Oh, I said there was no relation to real world things. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about in chat.
7 of hearts. So you've also got a heart, which is faith, support, or spirit. So I'm fighting with this sort of mentor spirit. What kind of other support or spirit could you have?
Can you just go for like a really negative spirit? Can you just go for like a full smear campaign of trying to reduce the public image?
Yeah. Okay.
Like my character is some kind of legal expert and is trying to just defame in a legal way.
Yeah.
This whole operation.
Okay. So you're someone who's received this body modification willingly, but has realized the downsides of it, and now you're trying to preach to others. Okay. So to bounce back on that, I think I'm this kind of mentor character. Maybe not directly to you, but I guess I kind of take on a managing role in your smear campaign with this idea that, like, I know the answers to the questions you're asking about the downsides of these things because of my knowledge card, and then I'm fighting with this sort of supporting spirit. Okay. So that is our characters. That is all we know. I think it is worth giving them names if we want to give them names. I'm tempted to get a fancy name generator and onto their sci-fi names. Just to see if we can get anything funny. Or even steampunk names. Let's find out what we can get. Okay, so my character, this sort of older mentor with this secret knowledge, is forever and always going to be known as Zebediah Corbin. No, that's bad. Zebediah Brassel. There you go.
Nice.
Do you want to get one? I think he goes by Z though.
Wimble Timpson.
What was
name
that?
Wimble, surname Timpson.
Okay, Wimble Timpson and Z. My cat's gonna go by Z. Awesome. So that is our characters. I think our characters would already know each other. We already know this kind of. We're already on this campaign.
It's a professional relationship. It's, you know.
Okay.
We are.
So.
We have a goal, a common goal.
Definitely. We are. The game really starts. It first kicks off on the first approach, where we stand on the threshold of this god beginning a conflict. I think it would be fun if the god approaches us. So I think maybe we are in one of our sort of speeches, our campaigns, maybe in a small town. Do you want to flesh out some more of what that would look like with your character visiting a small town and sort of preaching, if you will?
We're doing like a rally. I feel like we've got communications going on. It's more like a political campaign than anything. We're doing lawsuits. We're doing all that. It's bringing down the whole structure as well as just the person.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
You got like a bit of a march. We've got signs. We've got people shouting.
Okay, we've got a whole march like through these sort of. I like the idea of like a floating city where these layers sort of floating on top of each other, not in water, just on the air, like these lighter than air buildings for this biopunk setting, of marching through these streets. You taking the lead maybe, and me following a few steps behind, making sure people have got the right message and all the signs are spelt right and stuff. Okay, so the next thing we do, well, I'll read this bit for you. The first bridge. You stand on the threshold of your god's personal domain. Draw one card each and use the list below to interpret what the card might represent about this coming danger. So we draw one more card to represent this first approach, and it is the first sign that we see the god is paying attention to us. So I'm going to draw a card here, and then I'm going to tell you something about our rally. I'm going to put them over here. The 5 of Spades. Spades here represent dangers and threats or signs of physical conflict. So I think this Zebediah, his eyes flit around over the crowd that's amassed behind us, just kind of watching carefully, just making sure you're going on ahead and everyone else is safe behind. When I see one of the people in the crowd pulls out a small dagger, I think I noticed that there's some people in this crowd who maybe are pretending to follow our message to get close to you rather than to actually spread it. And that's what I noticed. So do you want to do the same? Do you want to draw a card? Or I'll draw a card and you can flip it.
Draw a card for me.
Oh, I did not mean to do that. Discard, put that back on top. Draw to table. Right, so this is what you see when you're looking over our rally.
Is that over?
Yeah. Oh, a 10 of hearts. So a heart represents the atmosphere, how it makes you feel, or an emotional connection you have. So your character, I've already forgotten the amazingly complex name, has some sort of emotional pang here.
Wimble Timpson, I'm pretty sure.
Wimble. Okay, so Wimble has some sort of emotion, some strong feeling. Do you want to let us know what that is?
Some sort of emotion or strong feeling. I feel like it's just a really strong negative feeling towards doing this whole thing and continuing on. But you can tell that it's directly related to the chip. That this is an artificial thing.
Right.
It's
okay.
This chip is being abused to change his motives and his motivation.
Awesome. Cool. So you feel this sort of like jolt of electricity almost to your mind, I guess, that kind of registers as a negative feeling. While Z recognizes this figure in the crowd pulling a dagger out. And that is how it starts. So now is the first confrontation. Something emerges. So now we transition from that into one of our threats. I think the easiest to go for here would be that pet that we talked about.
Yeah.
So I think I've got an idea. Do you have an idea of how that could approach, or do you want me to pitch you mine? So you have this emotional pang, and maybe you're distracted by it. Whereas Zebediah noticed that figure pulling a dagger out in the crowd. I think that figure takes the dagger and kind of, rather than stabbing anyone with it, they sort of brush the handle and it glows this sort of greenish red with this almost like fleshiness to it with that biopunk flavour. And then it kind of screams, it lets out this call, the dagger itself. And then down from one of the buildings above, this kind of huge cat-like panther thing leaps down a couple of stories and onto the bridge just in front of you. And that's when I think we first see this beast, the Jack of Diamonds. Did you want to add to something to what it looks like? Because this is kind of collaborative world building.
I like the idea that the beast itself has replacements. It's got mechanical bits all over it. It's got enhancements. It's got motorized teeth or whatever that spin around.
Mm-hmm. That's really cool. I like spinning like drill bit teeth.
Yeah.
So this is when combat begins. So we each draw another card. Whoever draws highest gets the first action. So I'm just going to draw one to table and bring it over here. I got a 9. I will draw one for you. There you go.
Queen.
You got a queen. Cool. So you get the first action in combat. So how it goes is you're going to roll 2d6 with the regular 6 as a fail, 7 to 9 mixed success, 10 plus is a success. And then you're going to describe what that looks like.
Not in terms of fighting this creature.
Mm-hmm. So this thing has just pounced down in front of you, and this is your first gut reaction.
7.
7. So on a 7, you succeed, but you stumble. So you do some damage, but something goes wrong. What does that look like for you?
I like the idea that I just kick it, just take a full leg swing, and I kick it in the face, but it's got those sharp teeth.
Yeah.
And it grabs the leg.
Okay. So maybe you're stuck there for a little bit.
It's not yet chomped down, but it's kind of found its position.
Okay. So I may as well roll on Foundry, actually. I haven't got my dice right here. So I'll take a roll next. We continue to roll until we roll a 10 plus. So this kind of combat, this description continues until we roll a 10 plus. So there is more risk the longer it takes. So I got an 8 there. Awesome. So I do a similar thing. I succeed in overcoming them, but I stumble. So I think seeing you trapped by the beast and my role in combat being this sort of like supportive teacher, I would yell out and just kind of dash forwards and just kind of attempt to punch this thing in the eye to get it to kind of jump back and drop you. And then I think I would turn around and try like push the crowd that was gathering, these people we were marching with, back a little bit to get some space. And I think my cloak catches. You described those spinning teeth. I think my cloak catches in some of those spinning teeth and is like ripped off behind me. That'll be my stumble. Cool. Would you like to roll?
Fan art of this thing.
Yeah. Just letting you know, if you roll a 6 or less, that's like a failure. And you can, but if you sacrifice one of your cards, so the 2 cards that make up your character, you can get a +1 to your next roll. That's how you get bonuses to the roll. But we'll talk about that if you get a 6.
8.
8. Okay, so again, you get another hit off, but you stumble. What does that look like?
I mean, my leg's already in its mouth. I'm just gonna shove the foot down the throat, just stomp. Try and do damage from the inside, except I'm still inside of its mouth, and so that's probably quite a painful thing for me to do.
I think as the teeth kind of like scratch up your leg a little bit more, but you do. I think it would be fun for this thing to have some sort of weird blood, like this kind of sickly green blood that begins to froth in its mouth as you stamp down. Awesome. I'll take another roll then. A 4. Right, so this is our first proper failure. On a proper failure, you hurt them, but you lose something in the process. So it can be something metaphorical, or I can physically lose one of my cards to grant a +1. I want to hang on to my cards for now, because you only get 2. So I will just take this cloak that I described getting caught in, just gets like chomped up by these spinning teeth, and I feel it spin all the way back until it's practically like holding me by the neck against the beast. And I think it's getting a little tight, and I'm feeling it struggling. But I unclip the cloak, and it gets like jammed in the teeth, so its biting is slightly less efficient. But I have fully lost my cloak. James, you may roll again.
11.
11, right. Somehow you defeat this thing. Describe it. So my cloak is jammed in its teeth, your foot is deep in its mouth.
All in, as deep as... I mean, I was going to go for something different. Or alternatively, how big do you reckon its eyes are?
Oh, that's up to us. Dinner plate? I reckon it's got big eyes.
Because I'm in a perfect position. Its head is essentially stuck where it is. I've got a clear shot of the eyes.
Yeah.
I like the idea that Wimble just punches this thing's eyes, and they are not built for being punched, and it just goes clean through, just into the brain.
I like that.
In a game.
That was very cool. So, yeah, it just like straight through. You see this like oozing liquid. It's proper gross. All these body modifications falling apart as the biological systems fail. And I think the Jack of Diamonds, the beast, is defeated.
Instead of deleting it, can you have a little graveyard?
I'm gonna.
You have a little place where we put the
I can't actually move.
Yeah, I did realize once you flip them, they kind of become immovable. I have to. What was happened there?
That's so weird.
You appear to have duplicated.
This is. I can. This is a very buggy game.
That's Let's just delete the one that was up top as well. Oh, apparently I
can't even delete.
What is going on?
Maybe if I flip it and then delete it. No, apparently not. Right, just ignore that. We'll sort it out. We don't really need the cards to keep track of them. Anyway, the beast is defeated. It falls to the ground, eyes collapsing, with Wimble having punched it right in the face. And we'll move on to the next section. We've got a little bit of time before we need to take a break. You all good?
Yep.
Awesome. So, having defeated this beast that represents the god, we're a little deeper in their domain now. Maybe it's we could have a time break. Maybe it's a couple of days on, and we find a moment to catch our breath and regroup. And we just draw a card and use it to describe their relationship with another character or an experience you've shared with that character. Obviously, there's only two of us, so the decision of the character is going to be pretty easy. But do you want to draw the first card this time around?
Sure. Let's move this over here.
There's a card there for you. And I'll tell you what it represents.
Ace of Clubs.
Oh, Ace of Clubs. Wow, so a clubs represents a secret between you or something you wish you could tell them. And obviously an ace is a big card, so it's going to be a big thing. Between the two characters. You can make up any part of our backstory now that involves a secret.
I think. So, do you think we met before this campaign or not?
That's up for you to decide.
I think
we definitely could have.
I think the first time that we met, I was befriending you as a salesperson of the company in an attempt to sell you things that you didn't need that would negatively impact your life. And I feel that now that we're fighting against those things together, it's time to come clean and say, initially, our friendship was completely ingenuine on my part. But now, obviously, it's different. Because now we've got this thing in common, and we're doing stuff, and we're making moves.
Yeah. So do you genuinely feel guilty for that previous bit, or are you just trying to like make up?
Wimble feels kind of bad about.
Yeah.
You know,
Wimble feels bad, and
using somebody to try and sell them things. It's a very negative thing. It was a changing experience, a pivotal moment in Wimble's life.
So yeah, in this sort of moment of rest, that idea comes to you, and you sort of share it with Z or Z. Awesome. I will draw a card. I'll see if I can embellish that story. The Two of Hearts. I was drawing a lot of hearts. Two of Hearts. A gesture of affection either one has made towards the other. Okay. I don't think we necessarily need to reminisce. I think sharing that secret with Zebediah was enough for them to sort of feel a little closer, a little more trusting. So far, it's just been a kind of business thing where it's been like, you do the talking, I'll check that no one's getting lost behind. But I think now that we've kind of, maybe we've struck out on our own now, knowing that we're actively being chased by this god, now we've destroyed their pet, that I think they want to show willing, and I think they want to like be a personal guard almost, be like, this is important what you're doing and you are in a position to do it, and I will be here to support you. I'll be there to get you right to the line. All you have to do is just sort of score the goal. So I think Zebediah makes kind of a promise there, like a oath of protection. Cool. So that is our breather.
Zebediah
as you move further ahead. Yeah, Zebediah's already a paladin. As you move further ahead, your path is blocked by the second symbol of divine power. I think we should take the corrupted hospital as our second symbol of divine power.
Yeah, well,
so
in the line that is second, isn't it?
It is. Do you want to describe maybe how we got there? So where we are at the minute, and then how we stumble upon this altar, this hospital, or at least start the description, and I'll add a bit more.
It could be that we're heading to another location to do another kind of event, and we decide that we probably need some immediate medical care, and we see road signs pointing us towards a hospital, and we think, our legs have been chomped, our necks have been pulled, we need some care, so we're going to head to this hospital. Turns out those signs are outdated, and they're pointing to this kind of desecrated, desanctified hospital.
Yeah. Okay.
This
so
church
I think
to greed.
What modes of transport do you reckon are being used in this kind of biopunk world? Maybe I like the idea of. Have you seen All Tomorrows? It was trending on YouTube a while back.
No.
The speculative biology. Okay. Well, there's a concept in there of these future species called the tool breeders, who never invented fire or never invented engineering, and they just genetically modified things to be tools for them. So I like the idea that like years and years of engineering species have gone by, where they've become the point of these kind of living, self-replicating tools. So I think instead of like speeder bikes you might see in regular sci-fi, they're these like long stretched birds that are beyond recognition as birds, and are more just these mounts that are more sort of engineered than real. So I think we've got some sort of repurposed ones of those, and we've just come to a stop outside this hospital looking slightly decrepit and empty-ish. And we step forwards, and I think it's time to roll some dice. Or should we take a break before we roll some more dice? That's probably a good idea. We are an hour in. We're going to go quickly get a drink, and I'm going to get a fan because it is very, very warm in here.
It's quite warm.
So we're going to take a short break. Do you want to... Shall we keep someone on here? Do you want to go take a break first, and then we'll swap over after about 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah? Regular plan?
Okay.
Cool. If you change the scene over, and I'll hang around for a little bit.
The other scene kind of doesn't work, so we may
break.
have to leave it on this scene.
Oh, that's fine.
Because all of our scenes
I'll hang around
in Streamlabs are built for 3 people, and we have 2 people, so... I'll
Very
go first.
You go first.
Yeah. I'll be back shortly. I won't be that long.
Cool. See you in a minute. I'll see what chat's up to. Hello, chat. Anybody? Oh, I've swapped sides. That's very exciting. Anybody doing anything good? Right, either now or over the weekend. This is a bit more of a chill stream, so I would, if it was me, I'd be doing something else while having this in the background. We're not exciting visuals today. But yeah, this game was just kind of me wanting to do some world building, but with another person. Let me see if I can get some other music to put on. Let's put this on. It is boiling today. Far too warm to stream. But yeah, if anyone has any more suggestions of stuff they'd like to see in this, very just slum it in chat and we'll include it as soon as possible, because this is a collaborative building experience, which means you guys could join in too. But hopefully you've been enjoying it so far in a sort of slightly weird but slightly interesting sense. And you can see some of the trademarks of mine and James's representative styles of DMing and playing. Oh yeah, story so far, if you missed any of it. So this game is all decided by dice rolls and cards, but we've been adding details. We started by defining the god as this god of wealth, but specifically as like the excess of modification to become perfect. So these people who have taken like cybernetic or biological improvements themselves slowly became more and more part of this god, and they gained power. We took 3 of their symbols of authority: a crown, a hospital, and their like pet, this kind of beast we just fought. So me and James took on these characters, and all we've done so far is kind of fleshed out this idea that we are on a political campaign. One of our rallies recently, this beast, this pet sent by the god, came down to fight us, but we defeated it. Or rather, James' character defeated it. And then we went to a little while somewhere quiet, just sort of rest, just to check up on what was happening to all of us. And next headed to this hospital, the second emblem of the god, in order to try and get some help. But more likely we're going to be fighting. And James is back.
Now I'm unmuted on screen.
No, I'm missing you. I just did a quick summary of the plot, so anyone who wasn't watching right from the start can do that. Oh, we have an idea. I would like to hear the idea before I go get a drink.
Cunning plan.
I just put on some more chill music while we have a break.
It's unfortunate that we can't do it in person, because I just have so many decks of cards.
I think this game would be more fun in person, because you could do so much more sort of... It's like Microscope. I'm really looking forward to playing, which we're going to hopefully play with soon, which I think is another one that would be more fun in person.
We could do that in person if you want. Are you coming around still?
Yeah.
Are you still on for that?
That one, I'm not sure I'll be able to. I'll have to check out what I'm doing that weekend. I might not be able to, because that's when I'm moving.
You said it's going to be moving?
Yeah.
That's soon.
I'm not staying up there, but I'm doing a serious moving stuff day.
That's quite early.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to come back and then move in a couple of weeks after that, but I'm doing some stuff moving.
I'm not going until the 19th.
I can't remember exactly when I'm going. I think I'm going 23rd is when I'm going, right. But I'm just moving some stuff in.
The only reason I'm going the 19th
cool.
is because I didn't want to go the 18th, because that's my birthday.
That is your birthday. We've still got
when there are quizzes of how much do you know about these streamers, and it's like, one is James's birthday. This is where you come to find that information. It's not going to be anywhere else.
So we've got a suggestion here. On the route to the hospital, you find a guardian who helps you guys on the adventure. Okay, we can include a sort of guardian, a sort of NPC idea, a sort of spirit. I'll have a think about that. I'm going to go grab a drink, and then we'll be back on for another hour or so with the second half of the story. See you in a little bit.
Looks like it's just you and me, you chatters. Ness is gone and there's nobody to save you now. Who have we got here? Say hi in chat if you're here and you have the tab open and not muted. And this time actually do it. 'Cause sometimes I say that, and there are people who are watching and are talking in chat and then just don't do it. You got one. Hello. How are you? You good? You having fun? And more to the point, what's the weather like where everyone else is? Because it's really quite hot where I am. Very warm. I'm not really a huge warm weather person. I tend to like cooler weather. You like the story? That's good. Glad that we're doing a good job of it. It's sunny today in the Netherlands. You're from the Netherlands. Wow. That's quite cool. You have an international audience. Look at that. Has it been rainy recently? I mean, it's not been that rainy where I am, but it's just been cooler recently. And now, all of a sudden, it's really warm. Which is unfortunate for all the people who have just gone back to school, but that's not me anymore, because I have left school. Yeah, you have warm weather when you go to school. Yeah. It always seems to end up that way somehow. It's always, whenever you can't be outside, the weather's warmer, and then as soon as you can, it's all rainy and cold, and yeah. What's this music? To be perfectly honest, I've kind of run out of things to say. I tend to do that a lot. I should take an improv class or something and learn how to keep saying things. (35 Celsius). That's quite hot. I think it's, according to the Windows weather feature that they added, it's 29 where I am. So quite hot, but not 35. Can't remember if we explained what's going on with future streams, but we haven't got Alex for a couple more days, for a week, about. So we might do something on Saturday, we might not. And then by next Tuesday, I think we should be back on for another 3-person stream, which should be good. Because I'm quite invested in the Outer Black now. wonder why it is we couldn't get the cards working properly. I wonder if there's something I can do about that. I don't want to draw and mess it up. I don't want to ruin anything. I have no idea what happened here. What's it doing? What is happening here? This would be a lot easier with an actual deck of cards. Come on, Ness. It's been a 14-minute break. What time do you call this? Ness is taking quite a long time. One thing I will just point out, though, is that Ness does use they, them pronouns. Just a little point. You use they, them as well. Nice. One thing I will say is I'm really glad we've got music on this stream, because I have long since run out of things to say, and this would be really quite difficult if this were just dead silence. Welcome back.
Right. I'm back.
You
Whoa,
took your
loads of
sweet
stories.
Time to call this.
Okay, I am back. I was accosted by my family.
You were accosted. Good word.
Yeah. Well, I value my. I learned a great word today. That is one of the games I thought we could play today, but we're not going to have time.
Yeah.
I can never remember how to say it. I think I put it somewhere. Hexiety, I think it is hexiety, which the thisness of things. It's the thing that separates this tree from a tree.
Yeah.
That property is called hexiety. It's cool, but dumb.
From the Latin.
Anyway, let's get back from the Latin.
I take it.
Is it Latin or Greek?
Hike meaning this. H-A-E-C. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. That must be. Yeah. Yeah, Latin. Hike this. Awesome. Almost like you did Latin GCSE or something.
Almost.
Let's go. I'm going to change the music back to the spooky music, and we are going to continue the game. So we did just...
As great as that music is, listening to it for 10 straight minutes on loop is...
Yeah. Right, so we just did a summary, so we don't need to re-summarize. Except we were going to come across that Guardian. So, do you want to draw a card to see what it looks like?
Let's draw a card.
I'm gonna draw a card. You're gonna flip it. And I'm gonna use the player.
Cards earlier, and it was just awful. Right,
okay.
I'll move this way over here. 3 of diamonds.
3 of diamonds. So, diamonds, because it's the deity we picked, the Guardian is somehow linked to the gods, but also represents sort of resources. Any ideas spring into mind?
You could consider humanity to be a resource.
Yeah.
Could you? I don't know.
You probably could. But I think the idea that it's a diamond, so it's also descended from this god. Maybe it's another person like you. Maybe it's someone who got a modification, is now regretting it. Let's give them a name from Fantasy Name Generator. Perfect, Dina. So I think we come across Dina in the path, who is like you. I think they had a modification. What should it be? Something kind of horrific. Let's go like Iron Man-y. Let's have it be an internal organ.
Internal organs, fun.
Or maybe like a band around their stomachs. They have this sort of central metal band that almost looks like a corset.
So like
and it kind of... Yeah. It could be a whole thing about like their food intake. They were
diet
insecure about
it. You can just turn appetite on and off by physically altering the stomach.
But now they sort of realize the control it's putting on them. The god is now choosing what food they want to buy and what things they want to consume. So they're feeling the same way as you, that they want to rebel.
That just generally sounds like a really unhealthy way to live.
It really does.
You could definitely just forget to eat and then just starve.
Yeah. So, we found this Dina, and we are now face to face with this hospital. Let's do a little bit of description before we get into the combat. I reckon we just take it in turns to describe a couple of steps forward. So I think the party takes a few steps forward towards this hospital. The doors kind of automatically creak open, snapping a couple of vines. And what do we see inside? What's the first sort of vision inside?
Ooh. Do you think this hospital is like old and what's the word? Dilapidated? Good word.
Good word. What do you reckon? I'm leaving that up to you. Is it?
I think it's no longer sterile in the kind of hospital way.
Yeah.
There will be rooms in here that are sterile such that they can actually safely perform the procedures, but the rest of it is kind of...
Yeah.
The rest of it is very much not. The rest of it's kind of overgrown and rusted, and it's not a very inviting place. It doesn't really have hospital vibes.
No.
It's very much
We
ancient
know
temple vibes.
we need to destroy it somehow or take it down. So I think with my powers being support and guidance, I sort of start to guide you and Dina, this guardian we found, towards, I guess, a generator. I guess that's the way you would kill. That's the heart of a hospital. Clearly, they're doing procedures here that would fail if we took out the generator.
Cut off the power.
Cut off the power. So I'm going to guide that way. Do you want to decide what sort of obstacle is in our way? Whether it's an immediate obstacle or an obstacle once we reach the generator? And then I think we should start.
So obstacle. I don't know. Should we draw a card for it?
Let's draw a card for it, yeah. Draw a card to the table. I'll flip this one. So it's an obstacle that's going to block us from the generator. Oh, it is a Jack of Spades, with spades representing something along the lines of conflict or weaponry. So I think this is literally, quite literally, defense. I maybe not want to go soldier, but someone who's... Yeah, okay, yeah, let's go soldier, but someone who's so modified there is no human left.
I like the idea that it is a literal soldier, because that's just so antithetical to a hospital.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I like that.
It's
just
very
a regular...
corrupted. Someone whose whole purpose is to harm people in a place that's supposed to be about helping people.
So a human with this, like, maybe a rifle, like a biotech rifles, this sort of like vine encrusted fleshy rifle on what is a regular looking dude. Let's draw a card to see who rolls dice first. I'll take one for me, and there is one for you. I got a 9. You got a Jack. So we come around the corner. We come around the corner to see this. We've got more information about Dina. It doesn't really get along with humans. Gets along with the person who they are linked to. I think they have that sort of connection to you, James, with that sort of, you both took a modification and then regretted it. So yes, so we've come around the corner. This soldier literally standing in front of the generator, rifle in hand, lifts it up at us, and you get the first action. Roll some dice to see how well it goes. That's what it looks like.
Well, I think things could have gone better.
What is it?
In fact, I did in fact get a 2, which is
a 2.
2 ones, so it's the worst result you can get on 2d6. So
you hurt them, but you lose something in the process. What is it? If you want, you may choose to lose the card that represents your means of fighting and get +1 to the next roll.
I would like to literally lose a limb.
Okay. Tell me what it looks like.
I would like my character to actually... I feel like... You know what would be a really cool weapon modification? This weapon.
Yeah.
Like a bayonet, except with just a huge knife on it. So it functions essentially as a sword.
Yeah, almost like a halberd, because the rifle is the whole length, with a sword on the end. Yeah.
And I like the idea that I go in fists raised, confident after last time, and this guy just takes a swing. And just...
Cool, okay. So yeah, your forearm comes clean off, and you stumble backwards. I'll take a roll. See how I can react to that. I got a 5.
Things are going well.
Also not great. So I think I sort of see this splurt of blood from your hand and shout out and sort of direct Dina to go up and do something to protect you. But in all the shouting, I think I sort of lose focus. And he rifle lines up and shoots, and he misses just over my shoulder. Kind of skims through the top of my skin, but I fall backwards onto some sort of this hard debris. We said the hospital was quite dilapidated, so maybe it's a chunk of ceiling that's landed on the floor and has kind of gone up through my back, just missing kidney, I guess. You roll again.
7. That's a little bit better.
7, mixed success. So, You succeed, but you stumble. So something's going to go wrong.
I think
Not a serious loss, but something goes wrong. But again, we are doing damage.
In a momentary lapse of judgment and full adrenaline mode, I take a swing at this guy, and I throw a punch, and I smack him straight in the head with the arm that has just been mutilated. So it does some serious damage to myself.
Yeah.
But it does still hurt, because you are still swinging most of an arm at somebody.
Yeah, that's
it's
brutal.
partly out the forearm, so it's just a punch, but with the severed stub, with the jagged bone sticking out.
His like neatly cut diamond, like with these encrusted diamonds onto this smart looking armor, it just splattered with blood from your arm. Gross.
That's grim.
Right, I'll take a stab. Oh, I'm not doing good. A 5. So I've stumbled backwards onto this piece of metal. I shout out and almost like kick my foot out, trying to trip this soldier as he reels back from your punch. And I think I do. I think I hit him. I hurt him. He almost stumbles backwards. He doesn't fall, but he stumbles backwards. But in doing so, my leg kind of twists my body around as it follows, and more of these chunks of metal on the ground just kind of scrape through my back. It's a nasty thing. And Dina's just stood there looking lost, because like she was ready to help you out, but not to this extent.
I feel like Zebediah is just rolling around in bits of broken metal.
He really is.
Fight.
Have a roll.
He's just Dark Souls rolling around this.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, he's an old man. We decided he's an old man with secret.
Another 7.
Another 7. So a mixed success. You'll do some damage to him. He does some damage to you.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a punch with my other hand.
Yeah.
And smack him. Like straight in the chest. Except I specifically described him as wearing armor. So whilst it has
yeah.
I mean, at least studded clothes.
Like fine dress, like it's over exaggerated because we're fighting the god of wealth.
Yeah, well, I guess military dress, but
yeah,
I guess I argue one of my knuckles just contacts one of these encrusted diamonds, and something breaks. But
something
also,
just
also it's an effective punch.
Okie dokie, I like that. That's good. That's some good inventory there. Let's see what... I'm just rolling 5s. It's almost as if I'm just rolling 1d5. No,
even
one
1d5,
roll...
Just roll 5. You might as well just type /roll 5.
Roll 5. So, something else goes wrong. I guess I tried to stand up. Yeah, let's make this worse. I tried to stand up, but I feel like some pressure on the top of my head. And as I slowly turn around, there is a second soldier there, rifle pointed down, kind of barrel on the top of my head.
Uh-oh.
I've had a lot of bad rolls. Let's go for that. You're next.
10.
10?
10.
That's a success. You tell me how you managed to get us out of this situation with 2 guards.
I've got like blood spurting out, right? I think
definitely.
Point at their eyes.
Oh, yeah,
and just get it on both their faces and just try and blind them.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, so it's a
pretty serious wound as well, so I am going to very shortly need to apply pressure, because I think...
So there was blood splurting.
30 seconds you get if your wrist artery gets...
Yeah, it's not long. So you like spray this, they're taken off guard for a second. I think Dina just sort of elbows one, and I managed to get up and grab the gun off the other, and they are pretty much incapacitated. Okay, so we're out of that instant danger, and I presume somehow we patch up your wounds and destabilize this hospital.
I mean, we are still in a hospital, even if it is dilapidated. I'm sure there's some stuff.
Yeah,
some bandages,
you can find some stuff. Okay, so we take a few minutes to rest, having shut down the generator.
Medication. It's just a bottle of pills that just labelled for chopped off arms.
Yeah. I think you take those. I think Zebediah gets one of the rifles and just kind of shoots a couple of holes in the generator just to make sure they're not going to get it back up and working.
You know it's biopunk or whatever it was we called it.
Yeah.
And you know how with plants they get the root powder so you can clone them by cutting off the roots?
Yeah.
That, but with the
It's
arm.
just that
We just do that.
arm powder. So we have moved on to the next step. You've come too far to turn back. Only one more obstacle blocks your path before you've reached the Divine Throne. As you step forward to go up to it, draw one card from the deck and then go around the group and describe something that's been broken, stolen, or lost by divine mandate. Not your arm.
Not my arm.
It's not something the god's taken from you. I'll go first.
Are you sure it can't be my arm?
I mean, it can if you get a card that applies. I've got the 9 of Spades. Spades in this case represent something I kept safe.
I kept my arms safe mostly.
I think I've taken this kind of mentor position, not because I wanted to, but because I almost missed it. I think my character had kids. I think they had like young children, sort of 20-something. It's the opposite of the dead parents trope. I have dead kids trope.
Yeah.
They were like 20-somethings going around like all the cool fads. Yeah, and they got some of these modifications. And then as things started to go wrong, that's where I got my secret knowledge from as well. Because my knowledge is from seeing the bad things that happen because my children took them. Hence, I've taken over that sort of mentor role for your character. Cool.
My
I will
character's
flip
like
you over
40.
Yeah. But I'm still older.
Still a kid.
So
Still a kid. Relative.
still a kid.
Well, potentially, depending on the timescale for this. Depending on the timescale for this, it could be that my character is the age that your kids would have been.
Yeah.
Right.
We don't know that. This is a
Diamond.
surface level 1. 6 of diamonds. So a diamond in this case representing an object of value or an important resource.
Arguably,
You can have your arm,
arguably
but you have
both,
to
both
describe
arms
it well.
and blood are important resources.
if you describe it well, tell me a story about
I would
it.
argue that my arm is an important resource. No, I've lost my freedom via this thing.
Okay.
As I did specify before, it can control behavior in a way.
Yeah.
And it can very much affect how a person acts. And through that kind of manipulation, Wimble has lost his freedom to the god.
Yeah.
And he's essentially lost his soul. I mean, obviously, there's still some of him in there. He does have to actively resist, though, to be able to do all of this. This isn't an easy thing. Every time he does something opposing the god just rickrolls him. Remotely. He just...
Cool. Nice. That's canon now.
I feel like it's just really loud, distorted white noise.
Yeah. I like that.
Whenever something bad happens, because that's like a noise you wouldn't want.
No. Cool. So, we're up to our third confrontation. Somehow this crown. I think we've got to see this god. I think the god's in the hospital. Because we are now at the point of taking down his crown.
I like the idea that he personally does surgeries.
Yeah.
This weird corrupted thing where like he takes this sick pleasure in mutilating humans.
Do we go to him or does he come to us? Question.
It could be
Do you
that
wanna draw a
on
card
our
for
way
it?
to find supplies and medical things to deal with the the horrendous injuries that I've incurred.
Okay,
to
okay.
find him.
So, you're still injured. We've done the basics, but we need more.
We could do it such that it's after I've been injured, but we're looking for additional supplies in case something similar happens again.
Yeah. Okay, so we're looking for more supplies, and we stumble into a theatre, surgery theatre, and there, stood over a body, is the sort of avatar of this god. We can see the metal crown he wears, that sort of cybernetic implant around the back of his head, and we know he can't be hurt until that is destroyed. Do you want to add something about what he looks like when we first see him?
I like the idea that he's just chuckling, not like maniacally laughing, just like a soft kind of. He's really enjoying this, but in like a nobody's watching and this is quite fun kind of way.
Yeah, he's the only one.
It's not even a funny way; it's a fun way. This is an enjoyable activity.
And I think instead of a whole team of surgeons, he's the only one standing over his body.
I like the idea that these other tools are just floating around via divine energy, or even you could get like spectral hands.
Yeah, I was thinking multiple hands would be a cool thing for this guy. Like, Doc Ock flavor, but without the tentacles. Just the hands kind of hovering in the air with this, like, divine energy of like the diamond around it.
Or even they could just be
That's
actual
cool.
severed hands that are being controlled.
Yeah. Hands he's taken. Including yours.
Or just grown.
Or grown, yeah, he'd grown them like plants.
If we do it including mine, it could be a really fun thing where we're stood there watching, and then from behind us, my severed hand just flies through the doorway and starts operating.
Okay. So as your severed hand flies through, we are in combat now fighting the crown. Let's draw cards to see who gets the first action. There's one for me, and there is one for you. I've got a 4. You've got a 3. So I see your severed hand fly from behind us to join his like volley of hands. And I'm going to roll to see how good I am at reacting to that. Wow, okay, that was easy.
Easy.
As the hand flies past, I like throw my hands up and grab onto it, and it carries me towards this god, where I just use the momentum of his own power carrying me forwards, just to kick at the base of this implant and just like split it off the back of his skull, and it falls to the ground with a clatter.
Isn't it weird to think that a 12 on 2d6 is rarer than a nat 20? Almost twice as rare.
That is strange. But cool. So, that's the third symbol done. We have killed the crown, the hospital, and the pet. So, at last, you've reached the place where the god sits enthroned. We see this guy with this slow trickle of blood down the back of his neck, and these floating hands surrounding him over this bed where some human lays unconscious. These are the last shivering moments before you draw your weapon against the deity. Draw one card each from the deck, and based on its suit, describe something about this place of power. You're welcome to go first. I'll draw a card for you.
Yeah. Oh.
Wow, the King of Clubs. The clubs are memories tied to this place, or stories you might have been told.
This is the location in which my character received his modification.
Oh, yeah, it could be the exact theatre.
And this was also his surgeon. And he didn't remember because he was under anesthetic. But suddenly, memories that he shouldn't have start flooding back. As if... I like the idea that this god is giving them freely via this connection to try and psych out Wimble.
That's awesome. I really like that. I'm going to draw a card to see what I can add to that. Awesome. It is the 2 of diamonds. The diamonds representing material, physical aspects of the environment, sights, sounds, and smells. So I think the first smell is of that. It's not clean. It's not like that hospital smell. It's this horrible sort of decaying, rotten smell as things are pushed together rather than being neatly put together. And I think this isn't something I've ever been familiar with myself. I was never part of the sort of the fad of these modifications, but I've seen it affect so many people's lives, and I can see like familiar prosthetic hands or brain implants hanging on the walls and holding in these hands he has around. And I think it just brings back memories of the things I've seen and how these are in so many people, and so many people are potentially under threat unless we defeat this thing. So yeah, we stand in front of him, and it's time to roll some dice to face down the final enemy. Let's draw some cards and see who gets to take the first.
Did we not already do that? Oh no, that was for the previous one, wasn't it? The one turn combat, yeah. Shall I take that one?
Yep.
3.
And I got a 8. Cool. So I'll take the first action then, and I'm going to roll first. So base my description of the roll. A 4. Great. So I am knelt on the floor next to this guy, having knocked his crown off. And I think he spins around, his attention off of the body he was working on and onto me. And I think he's not even going to bother trying to knock me out. I think he's going to try and start one of the procedures, because my character is one of the few who hasn't had any modifications. So
there's stuff in his hands for it. He's just going to be...
Yeah. I think he's just going to start trying. Maybe
grab you. try and keep you still.
What would be a fun thing? Yeah, the hand's just like, oh yeah, hoisted into the.
Yeah.
Starts measuring
Not
these
even on
different
the table, just
modifications. Yeah. Okay. So I'm like floating in midair as he's measuring these modifications against me. Your roll.
8.
8. So you succeed, but the divine power leaves a mark on you. What is it?
Ooh. That's a tough one. I want to grab the scalpel out of his hand and just thrust it into him.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure what kind of mark that's going to leave.
It could be
as I take action against him, he starts sending horrific images through this link. Just all sorts of horrible things. The worst. Imagine just the worst of the internet streamed directly into your brain by a vicious deity.
Yeah, a deity of like. We already decided he's wealth. He's an excess, so he's the excess of the internet flooding into your brain.
It's just the worst of the dark web, just directly live streamed.
Okay, I like that. I'll have a roll and see how I can react. A 7. So again, I'm gonna do some damage, but I'm gonna leave a mark. I think we know what that mark's gonna be. So I think I lash forwards as he's distracted by you and kind of kick him in the flank from where I'm suspended in midair. But then more hands come and grab my legs and sort of fully, almost like as if I was lying down, but in midair. And I think he's picked one of the modifications. But which one's going to be? I'll take a card for it. Actually, I'm just going to take a card and see if I can link that to anything. A heart, so something along the lines of emotional connection. Maybe we go for a literal heart. I think he plunges his hands like into between the ribs. These like metallic claws he's got for lifting them open built into his hands. And a small like diode connects to the heart that starts blinking. And it controls the beat. It's like a pacemaker, but he can control it to make it faster, to leave me constantly excited and like on the edge of my seat and easy to please, I guess. Make me more perceptive to advertisements or media or any of that. So like fake flight or fight response. Anyway, roll some dice.
11.
11. Cool. Somehow you take him out. Describe what it looks like. This is going to be pretty spectacular. So, you succeed, and in your victory, you leave a mark on that nothing will ever bury. So, somehow you take him out, but this is a big thing.
So, what was the last bit you slightly cut out?
You leave a mark on the world that nothing will ever bury. What is it?
I'd like to try and send stuff back the other way through that link.
Yeah,
I have
okay.
This idea of I've received all this horrible stuff, and just the sheer rage of humanity, like all the most human emotions, are going to go back to this non-human being and try and overpower it. And
I like that a lot.
I like the idea that succeeds, but in the process, everybody who's got one of these in has some kind of negative consequence.
Yeah, you're shooting them back every way rather than just back to him. Cool. What might that look like for an everyday person?
Just a temporary, just like 10 seconds, just can't function. Just 10 seconds, everybody who has one of these in just completely spaces out. No memory, no thought, just stood there for 10 straight seconds, and then just continues on as if nothing happened.
Yeah.
But obviously everybody else sees this and is really weirded out, is going to remember this for a long time.
There are some proper weird like moments in the world. But yeah, so this god of wealth falls down dead. These hands just sort of flopping to the sides. We have dethroned a god. So go around the group and have each player say how this fight has changed their character. So I was first to draw my character, so I guess I can describe first. So I started as sort of aged mentor character who was only obsessed with sort of protecting others and less about fighting themselves. And then in the last moment, they were literally kicking a god to distract them for someone to get the winning blow. So their mentor thing worked. They were able to let someone else take the finishing blow, but ultimately it took them taking a physical risk. So I think they've learned that sometimes you've actually got to put things in line. What about Wimble?
I think Wimble has been changed geometrically in terms of just the general shape of him.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to go for that one. I'm not going to go for the obvious one. I think Wimble is a lot less trusting.
Okay.
He trusted the process, and he thought that this thing in his brain was only going to be used for what they said it would be, and that didn't end up being the case, and it ended up being the worst decision that he had ever made. And so, I think Wimble is a lot less trusting of other people and other people's judgment, and is the kind of person who reads the ingredient list on a shop-bought mac and cheese.
Right. Okay. I like that. I like that a lot.
Just to make sure that there's nothing crazy in there.
Yeah. So there you go. That was a quick-ish, because there was only 2 of us, playthrough of And You Shall Shatter Temples. I think it was quite fun.
You should start again sometime.
It was quite fun, wasn't it? We should see if we can get some more people to do it.
Yeah. That setting and that character of that god.
Yeah.
I think we should definitely turn that into some D&D game, or at least someone should animate it.
Or, and this is a special hint on future plans for chat, where we're hopefully going to run a microscope game soon, which is another TTRPG, based on a similar concept to this, in that we are world building, we're creating a story rather than playing individual characters. So this might be this might be a world we can use as a kick-off point for microscope. And on that note, there's something I thought we'd do for the last sort of 10-15 minutes of this stream, which is just to say this was a fun game. I just picked this out because it looked fun, but there's a lot you can learn from these smaller sort of sort of smaller group-made games. So I thought we could do a kind of few questions. So obviously, number 1 question: was it fun?
I thought it was
James,
a really
did you
game.
kind of enjoy it as a game?
I thought.
Yeah,
It's very simple in its rules. Obviously, you kind of do need the rules up to have references for what the cards mean.
Yeah.
It's the only real actions are drawing cards and rolling dice, and so you don't even need any real equipment that the average person doesn't have. So you can kind of play it impromptu, and as well, there's no setup for it. So
no, I didn't do anything apart from skim the rules. So that was really good. I also enjoyed it. I thought that was a fun world building exercise.
I have it open. Hold on.
And You Shall Shatter Temples.
And
there were some bits of the rules. There were some bits of the rules I subtly changed, and there were some bits I sort of clarified. A bit about rolling dice. I wasn't sure whether you meant to take turns, or whether you meant to just roll them all at once, or stop at 10 or whatever. But I kind of streamlined some of it just to work better on stream. But apart from that, it was pretty much raw. And You Shall Shatter Temples. I can't say. And You Shall Shatter Temples. It's quite a difficult word to say. I can put a link to it somewhere. There we go. Here you go.
Type in chat.
I think I've got a link to it, so.
That's what it's called.
It was a pay what you want deal. So I really encourage you to put a couple of pounds towards it, just to kind of support these small creators. But yeah, I thought it was fun. Second question is, what wasn't quite so fun? What didn't work quite so smoothly that we could learn from? If there was anything.
I think having a longer game would potentially be better. I think the fact that it was short meant that each segment wasn't really fleshed out in very much depth. I thought the final segment worked quite well because we really put a lot of thought into this whole character of it. I think we had this one character with a lot of depth and description because there was only the one enemy. I think the other bits, there wasn't really enough thought about the description of the world. You know, what was the town that we were in like? What were the people like there? You know,
it was a kind of the in between the combat bits was just kind of a single card. This tells a whole story.
Yeah.
Whereas I think some other games have a bit more of pick a card, pick another card, roll some dice, whatever, to tell a whole more expansive story. So maybe that's something we can look for in Microscope. I agree with you there. I think the quick combat where you just roll the dice and then you kind of describe what it looked like. I liked the bits in between. I wish there was more. I wish there was easier ways to get some like in-character stuff in there. Like most of the time we were all in third person, which is more the fault of the game, I think, just because it didn't fully contribute to those sort of character moments. But apart from that, I really enjoyed it. And then the last bit from that is, what is the next step? What are we going to do? We've learned some stuff from here. Any ideas of how we can introduce it into D&D or Microscope?
Well, I just really like the setting we came up with and that character of this god. I like all of that. I think, I don't know, good vibes.
Good vibes.
Good vibes.
I liked the vibes a lot. I think maybe
it's a really good world building process where it's not like, you know, pick a type of setting, pick a type of god, whatever. It's pick a general category of this or the other, and then within the specifics you flesh it out as you go. So there's a degree of being told what to do and having some structure, so it's easy to come up with ideas. But then there's a degree of freedom within that.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. I think that's something like Microscope as well, where it's you learn the history through playing.
Yeah.
Like what you did with a history stream on the Out Black.
Yeah.
Where rather than saying, in the past this happened, you say, let's play through this past and see what happens. Which I think is something that was really good in a world building perspective, because usually I just DM, so I make a world, I know the past, present, and future. All that's going to happen is the player's movement between there. So I don't really know the future, I know the past and the present. So I think that was a good way to get around that. And yeah, I really like the world. I think it's something that can only work in one of these small games, or only work so easily. Because once you try and transport something to D&D, you need a lot of like homebrew to get those flavors in, or lots of heavy flavoring. Whereas one of these mechanics light games, it's so easy to do these huge leaps of logic. We've got a question here. Would you say it's more driven by the players than by the game mechanics? I think the way we played it, definitely. I think we let the game mechanics guide us, like the way we'd roll dice, just to see how much risk we'd put into our attacks. And then the guided by the players, I think we definitely made most of the thematic decisions, at least. What do you think, James?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was... I mean, when you produce an outcome, either via a dice roll or by a card pull, at least the way we played it, that doesn't then determine what happens. That determines the kind of thing that happens. And then you very much get to dictate. Yeah,
I like the way the cards sort of tell you, this is the flavor you're going for here. It gives you some inspiration, but really you should pick it yourself. Awesome. Any closing thoughts on that game?
Nothing we haven't already said, I don't think.
Okay. I don't think we will start another game tonight. That one lasted us long enough. But I'm happy to stick around a bit and just sort of talk TTRPGs if people want to. If anyone's still in chat. I don't know what thoughts I've had.
I think we're about at the point we wanted to be.
Yeah.
The stream.
Yeah. So unless chat has any questions about the game or about the other games I was talking about, then we will call it a day here, and we'll see you soon when Alex is back. We can give it sort of 5 minutes, see if anyone's around.
Yeah, give it a little while to see. Closing remarks. Come up with another riddle.
Should I find another riddle?
Should we make that a recurring thing?
I'm going to go back on riddles.com. You tell me if anyone says anything funny in chat. I'm just going to go on... Do you want brain teasers, classic riddles, or easy riddles? Or kids riddles? I'm going to do kids riddle.
I just like the absolute broken garbage riddle.
I've got some great riddles. David's father has 3 sons. Snap, crackle, and what?
David.
David. I make 2 people out of 1. What am I?
I'm very confused by a message in chat. I'm not completely sure what that means.
Autism upgrade.
What?
Cool.
What does that mean?
Do you get like more snacks?
Is it the pouch? Is it the... I don't know.
Yeah. Autism 2.0. Oh.
All right. I was just
Okay.
very confused.
Yeah. Funny. Yeah. Oh dear, you caught me off guard on that one.
That was the next riddle.
Yeah. I'm trying to find some more funny ones.
What was the one you were halfway through saying?
I make two people out of one. What am I?
You make two people out of one. I don't know. Mirror?
Yeah, it's a mirror.
Nice.
You got it.
Mitosis. Actually, mitosis is for single cell.
I need to find some really funny ones. Give me a good one.
Which means cells are people. No,
Hey
they
James,
aren't.
you want a good riddle? James, you want a good riddle?
Go on.
I went on riddles.com. New riddles. Riddle. What is a crab's favourite food?
Seaweed? I don't know.
Pinchalada. That got 68 likes.
That's just a bad joke. It's not even a riddle. It doesn't even come under riddle. It's just... this is what I'm looking for. We should just do a whole stream of this.
Riddle. What is in the centre of gravity?
Mass?
The letter V. Obviously.
But the implication of that joke is that there is a center, something that's in the center of gravity normally.
Oh, Sam has a pun. Let's hear the pun.
Go for it.
I've got another riddle afterwards, but I want to hear the pun.
That's not a riddle. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
none of these have been riddles so far.
bad.
These have all just been bad jokes so far. They're not riddles. We just call them riddles because we initially wanted riddles because we thought that would be funnier than jokes.
Ooh,
but people don't know what.
Just
riddles
what I
mean.
remember. What I remember before we hear the pun. We will read the pun in a minute. Oh, I'm gonna read it now. Why can't you detect any atoms of third noble gas? Because they are gone. Yeah, okay, that's funny. You get an octopus for that. I can't find the octopus. There it is. It's a squid. What I remember, some of the music for today, some of the cool synthy stuff was from Arcane Anthems on TikTok and Patreon. They make cool, free, Twitch-friendly RPG music. Go check them out. This is just me saying we used them today and they were very useful. What I remember. But I do have another riddle. Riddle. What type of dog do a vampire have?
Bloodhound?
Bloodhound, 69 likes. Oh, these
Speaking of
are...
vampires, you should all go watch Castlevania on Netflix. It's good.
Do it. I haven't seen it, but do it. Anyway, that's plenty of riddles for now. So yes, I don't even know what that is.
You don't know what that is.
But excellent.
It's Discworld.
I don't know what... I don't... Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do know what that is.
Like, I don't remember anything that happened in it because I read it so long ago, but you've got to know that.
You gotta know it. I'm way behind you. Anyway, we have streamed for over 2 hours now, so we will call it a day because it's very, very warm, and I need to go lie down somewhere with some ice on.
We've hit the stream quota.
Yeah, we've hit the stream quota. I don't know exactly when Alex is back, but we will be streaming sometime soon. We'll tweet about it. We'll put it on various Discords. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Slightly different game, slightly different energy. But anyway, it was. I enjoyed it. I hope James enjoyed it, and I hope you all enjoyed it. And we will call it a day there. Any closing remarks, James, or should we say goodbye?
I want to tell the viewers to watch the TikTok because I've been intending on creating some more TikToks and I just haven't gotten around to it. I'm gonna make some
Keep on the TikTok.
D&D TikToks. So.
Is it Fluff and Fumble on TikTok as well?
It is. It's Fluff and Fumble on everything. We managed to grab. Don't say you TikTok. I know that some people are anti TikTok, but you post something to YouTube, it gets 19 views, and you post it to TikTok, and it gets over 1,000, and you just gotta wonder, why would you ever not post to TikTok? So
go, yeah, Fluff and Fumble there. Check it out. It's quite funny actually. I quite like it.
give us the views.
So yeah, keep your eyes on the TikToks. We'll see how it goes, and we will hopefully see you soon. Outer Black or other assorted gaming content.
I shall click the button.